Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome back to another Fallout 76 news video. Today we have some news regarding a couple of delays to features that were supposed to be coming in patch 20 later on this month, and the features that are still going to be coming with that particular patch, as well as a couple of other bits and pieces as well. So, let's have a look, shall we? Okay, so Fallout 76 Inside the Vault June updates. Welcome back to Inside the Vault. Following feedback and bug reports from the players in the public test server, we are making adjustments to some of our plans to update 20. We've also got details on a new Purveyor Mystery Pick event that starts today. So, a couple of things been delayed from patch 20 that is due at the end of the month. Specifically, the Legendary Perks feature and the Colossal Problem event. So, two of the big new features that are coming in the patch, two of the four. So, about half of the patch being delayed here, but in response to feedback coming from the public test server. So, we've got a few details here. A couple of weeks ago, we reopened the public test server so that all Bethesda.net PC players could try out new features coming with Update 20, like Legendary Perks, public teams, and the new event, A Colossal Problem. Since then, we've been happy to see the community share many thoughts about these additions. We're going to keep working on A Colossal Problem and Legendary Perks in order to respond to your feedback and make improvements. We're now aiming to launch them in a patch after Update 20, so sometime July onwards, but the timing will depend on the depth of the changes and the time it takes to make them. So nobody much likes to hear things being delayed, but given past events and the way things are going in the whole video game industry at the moment anyway, delays are being very much viewed as preferable to rushed content, so good to see Bethesda saying, okay, we need a little more time to polish these. So, what's moving? We have been actively reading through all of the Legendary Perks feedback the community has shared with us so far, and we agree that there are areas that we can improve. We've decided to shift this feature so that we have more time to review the current Legendary Perks system, make changes, perform testing, and ask for your additional feedback in a future iteration of the PTS. As a preview, some of the improvements that we're currently working on will allow you to swap Legendary Perks in and out at any time in exchange for a few perk coins, as well as save your Legendary Perk selections even if you haven't filled all of your available slots. We're also looking into creating new Legendary Perks and changing some of the existing ones based on community discussions. So with the Legendary Perks system, one of the big bits of feedback that's been coming out has been it's kind of underwhelming at the moment. Most of the perks that are available are not particularly profound, they're not going to be big game changers, they're little bonuses, but nothing all that significant. So, Legendary seems like a bit of a misnomer to it. So it was feedback that was very, very quickly received after PTS went live, and clearly it has continued along that line. And from the sound of it, there's a few additional features that people have suggested that they think are a good idea and they'd like to work in as well. Not massively surprised that it's delaying things in that regard, because, as I say, there's been a pretty profound response, and it has been pretty consistent as well, in that, as I say, that it's been kind of underwhelming in terms of the perks you can get. There's a couple of them in there that are kind of reasonable and quite fun, but on the whole, yeah, definitely needs to be a bit more in the legendary direction and less in the anticlimactic direction, so I think that's what Bethesda are going for here. Some of the improvements we're currently working on will allow you to swap legendary perks in and out at any time in exchange for a few perk coins, as well as save your legendary perk selections if you haven't filled all of your available slots. Not quite sure what that second point's referring to. I'd have to have a bit more of a deep dive into it, but it sounds like for a key feature, swapping perks in and out for legendary perks is apparently, from the sound of this, not available at the moment. Once you pick one, you're stuck with it, kind of thing. Because this is what it sounds like, so that would be a strange decision, and I'm not surprised to see the community going, let's get this changed. So Bethesda are clearly latching onto that, and a few perk coins cost, so the way the perk coin system works as it currently stands anyway, you trade in existing regular perks that you don't need or you've got duplicates of or whatever, and in return you get perk coins that you then use to buy legendary perks. So basically you've got to save up for them by leveling, basically. By the time you hit the every 50 level mark, which is when you get a new perk, so level 50, 100, 150, so on, should give you plenty of opportunity to earn plenty of perk coins, so reasonably easy system to work with there. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why they'd stop you just swapping them as and when you want to. If you want to, especially given that on down the line they're planning to bring in perk loadouts, you'll be able to switch between, within reason anyway, character builds. Obviously you won't be swapping your special points around, but within the set of special points you've got, you'll be able to swap out certain perk sets for different skill sets, different scenarios, basically. So not being able to swap your legendary perks to go with that seems strange to me. Especially, for example, you've got, say, if you've gone down, say, Perception and Strength primarily as your two special attributes, that can set you up to use automatic rifles, single-shot rifles, melee weapons, either punching, two-handed or one-handed, and shotguns as well. So to spec into all of those at once is not really doable. You cost too many perks. But you might want to swap between them on occasion. And it would make sense that you'd want to swap legendary perks at the same time. So it seems strange to me that Bethesda would not be facilitating that. And charging you coins for doing that also seems a bit weird. I'm not sure I'm in favour of this. I'll have to see a bit more about the actual system on down the line to see what the actual details are of this. But that seems like a strange choice for me. Not particularly sold on this. But not being able to swap them at all is clearly a very, very bad choice. So unsurprisingly, the community has responded there and said this needs to be changed. So I'm guessing there are a few other bits and pieces as well that the community have picked up on that they want to see changed. But just creating new perk cards alone and figuring out what's going to work without being horribly unbalanced, things like that, especially given that they've got a big balance pass coming up later in the year, making matters worse before that patch comes along is probably not the way they want to go. So, as mentioned above, we're also planning to move a Colossal Problem to a future patch. Even though the event is working well and feedback from the PTS players has been mostly positive, this will give us more time to perform additional internal testing, make performance improvements, and add another layer of polish to the event to make sure it's completely ready for release. So extra polish is always welcome. I'm not sure what the feedback has been regarding a Colossal Problem. I got the impression, at least early on, that it was reasonably positive. I'm guessing there are performance issues, clearly. Presumably frame rates crash down, that sort of thing. We'll explain why Bethesda are focusing on improving that. And I'm guessing there's a few other bits and pieces that people are picking up on, or things that aren't going perhaps as smoothly or as Bethesda would like. Maybe it's something to do with the rewards that they need to work on the balance of, something like that. But they're clearly wanting to take a little bit more time. This does seem to be one of the highlights of the patch, though, so it's a bit unfortunate to see it get delayed, but if it's generally being received well, they'll certainly want to make the best of it if people are going to be particularly interested in it, or at least if they think people are. So it sounds like the PTS players certainly have been, so that bodes well for the future, even if it has been delayed. So, what's staying then? Well, the other half of the patch, in short. 2/3 if you want to count the bug fixes. So, the public team system is an addition that we're excited to bring to the game, and we're happy to let you know it's still on track for update 20. Brilliant. Public teams are going to make it easier than ever to group up with other players and get a bonus depending on your team's current in-game goals. If you haven't had the chance to check out public teams in the PTS, crikey, there's a mouthful there, don't worry, we're going to share an in-depth preview of the system in the coming weeks, so we'll get more details before too long, but the basic gist of it is you can select the type of team you're looking for, depending on the sort of content you're wanting to engage with, and then from there you get specific bonuses for spending time in a team as well. It's entirely optional, you don't have to do it, it's just a little temporary buff if you happen to want to do that as an incentive to get people playing together. Because I suspect there's probably a good split. I'm sure there's quite a lot of people who are playing with other people, but I think there's a lot of people who are playing solo. I know when I look around the map in particular, I see a lot more single dots scattered around than groups, so they're clearly trying to push more into the group side of things, get more people involved, and there is, as they've said before, more group-focused content coming in future. Exactly what that might be, we're not too sure. There was something in the autumn series of patches that might lean in that direction, we'll have to see. Sort of event-type content that's coming up that I'm guessing is going to be more group-focused. So it's probably leading into that, I think. So giving a little bonus, giving people more reasons to engage with it. Hopefully making it a bit more fun for everyone as well. So either way, public team's still on track, more details coming next couple of weeks. Additionally, we are still planning to implement 76 seasons in Update 20, and Season 1 is set to begin for everyone on Patch Day. We took a detailed look at the season system in May, link in the blog post, findable there in the description as per, and we're going to dive deeper into Season 1 itself a little later this month. Keep an eye out on Fallout.com for these details, because we'll also reveal many more of the rewards that will be up for grabs, and of course, I'll be covering it as soon as we get the news. The really, really big thing, I think, is the seasons that are coming up, Season Pass. It's basically the 10 weeks long, I think they said, which would basically mean July, August till the middle of September. giving us an opportunity to replace the existing challenge system and earn specific rewards via a new system of more approachable challenges, which should be fun. From the sound of things, I've got some pretty cool rewards in there. It'll be interesting to see more details in the coming weeks. Definitely looking forward to that. Glad to see that's on track. Not massively surprised. They actually didn't put this in the PTS. Largely, I think, because it's not the most difficult thing to implement as far as these things go. So, thank you very much to all of our PTS players for everything you've shared with us about Update 20 so far. It's largely due to your feedback that we've decided to make adjustments to legendary perks and a Colossal Problem. We know everyone is excited for these features, and while delays are not ideal, we want to make sure our implementation of both the Colossal Problem and legendary perks matches that excitement. There we go, basically what I said before. We're looking into releasing upcoming patches earlier in the PTS going forward to allow for more feedback and iteration. Basically more time in the PTS to test things and get the feedback and then fix things, I suppose. So a longer testing period is what they're saying. So the initial period over the last few months that I've had has basically been a few weeks, with the exception of Wastelanders, which was a couple of months. Not surprisingly, I suppose. So more testing time is always good. Clearly the players are testing things and they are finding problems and reporting them, so this is good. This is exactly what the test server's for and exactly what we want to see, so it's obviously working. And from the look of it, if they want more time to work on things, it's working more efficiently than even Bethesda expected, so that bodes well for the future in a way. Delays, obviously, as I say, not the most fun thing in the world, but if people are engaging with it and they're getting plenty of feedback and plenty of usable feedback from the sound of this as well, bodes well for future updates being more and more solid, especially if they're going to take more time to work on them. So fingers crossed, the future is looking reasonably bright, despite the little bit of bad news here. So if you're going to copy a PC copy of Fallout 76 through Bethesda.net, you can still try out Colossal Problem and public teams in the PTS right now. Legendary perks are disabled in the PTS at the moment, but we're aiming to bring them back in a future update. Join us for some playtesting, then let us know what you think in the Fallout 76 PTS forum. So yeah, courtesy of legendary perks not being quite where either the player base or Bethesda want them, they have removed them for now while they work on it and get a new iteration out for the future set. Presumably the next PTS after patch 20 it will start reappearing and we'll be testing a new version of it. So there we go. Perhaps this should have been done a little earlier. I'm thinking some of the issues here we pulled up very, very quickly. I say we, the player base, pulled up very, very quickly. So maybe this should have been caught a little sooner, I think. Surprised Bethesda didn't realise that the perks were going to be a little underwhelming, to be honest. I don't know. There's such a thing as being too close to a problem, I suppose, so that might have something to do with it. But then again, this is what the PTS is for, to get our feedback. Bethesda did say from day one, even way back before the game launched, that the idea was to develop the game in conjunction with the community requests, feedback, that sort of thing. And this is exactly what they're doing. So we can hardly complain when they take the time to put our feedback into action, I suppose. So, one other thing coming this week. Mystery pick event. I did predict that there would be a Purveyor event coming up. I was thinking it would probably be a sale, because it's been a while since we've had one. We've got another mystery pick, which is, I'm not a big fan of them. Let's have sales, not mystery picks. They're just a cheaper object, more randomness. No, thank you. Not a big fan. But, nonetheless, if you are into that sort of thing, if you've saved up some legendary script from Fastnact over the last couple of weeks, the new mystery pick event will start later today. So that is 12 PM Eastern Time, Thursday 11th, running through till 12 PM Eastern Time on Monday the 15th. So today till Monday, 12 PM Eastern Time US, so that will be about 5 PM UK time. So it'll be live now, seeing as it's past that time now. So, as per usual, head to Mermago's shop at the Rusty Pick in the Ash Heap and choose a mystery pick option to exchange 60 legendary scripts, rather than the usual 100. For a completely random 3-star legendary weapon or armor. If you're ready to fill your armory with new gear, visit the Purveyor this weekend. So there we go. As I say, I've never been overwhelmed by the Purveyor events, the mystery pick ones anyway. I'm much more in favour of the sales, so you get more precisely dialed in roll for what you want that way. But hey, if you've got basically a solid setup and script to burn, it's something you can do just to see if you get something random that was unexpectedly good, I suppose. Probably appeal more to people with completely set up characters than people are still trying to set them up, I suppose. But there we go. So, yeah, a little disappointing to see legendary perks and a Colossal Problem getting delayed, but it is what it is. Like I say, we give feedback, they try and fix things. Sometimes that takes a little longer than they might like. The whole idea is for them to develop along with our feedback, and they're doing exactly that. So, it's good. It's the right direction to go if things are not where you want them to be. I mean, we've seen over, as I said, over the recent few years, games being rushed out incomplete or with serious problems. And subsequently, we're seeing a sizable shift towards delaying games, not just from Bethesda either. I've seen other companies doing it as well. Cyberpunk springs to mind as something that's been hugely delayed that I'm looking forward to. Fingers crossed that'll still come out on my birthday. But, yeah, that particular trend is definitely a positive one. I mean, in a perfect world, they'd get everything right on the initially planned launch day and everything would be fantastic and hunky-dory. But, you know, problems do occur, and it's good to see them getting addressed. So, yeah. All in all, I think this is probably, despite the cloud of a negative kind of start to this particular piece of news, generally a good thing in the long run, and it bodes well for the future as well. So, not too bad a piece of news, and in a long-term sense, quite a good one, I think. But, nonetheless, patch 20 at the end of the month should be fun. Jumping into first season should be cool, looking forward to that. And, yeah, ready and waiting for a Colossal Problem and Legendary Perksmen. Hopefully they get them both the way we want them. So, do hope you guys found that useful and informative. If you did, please do hit those buttons for me, so it's very, very much appreciated. Social media links down below as well, if you're into all that stuff. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you can find me on there. And if you'd like to support the channel a little more directly, you can either become a channel member via the blue join button, or we have a merch store open as well if you're interested in t-shirts, hoodies, that sort of thing. We've got a link down in the description to that if you want to check that out. For now, I'll say thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.